This is the ventilation station. Right, it is time to complain, people.
Constructively, I might add.
Constructively. My name is Chileshe, and I'm concerned citizen number 1, and alongside me is concerned citizen number 2, Melissa. Say hi, Melissa.
Hello there.
It's only a bit more cheerful than you were earlier.
I mean, you've been called cheerful. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but yeah, I'm a bit better than I was before.
No one cares. Right now, you are listening to the ventilation station. So for those of you who don't know what we do, we complain so you don't have to. Simple as that. So Melissa, give us a recap of last week.
Yeah, so to briefly summarize what we discussed last week, it was just very basic introductory stuff. We just talked about what, ventilation station is all about. Like you said, we complain so that you don't have to. And essentially just talking about, what it means to complain too much.
True.
What it means to vent, to complain, to just, get things out there. And just basically just touch on a few things that we'll be discussing in the coming weeks. Things that irk us, things that annoy us sometimes, things that bother us.
Like you to me.
Okay.
And most importantly, the way in which society views anger as well. How society
the way this guy
demonizes
loves
such
the
emotions.
sound of his own voice. But yes, I was just about to touch on that, but thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll stop talking then. I'm done. Handle the show.
Yeah, I think just as well.
Anyway, so linked to that, we actually posted a question on our IG story asking the question as to whether anger is a choice. 71% who responded said no, and 29% said yes, anger is a choice. So what do you think about that, Melissa? Why would 71% say no?
Well,
What do you
I don't
think
want
anyway?
Yeah, I don't want to kind of speculate as what people are thinking. We'll open up more discussions around.
Yeah, we're not
these
speaking
issues.
for everyone
Yeah,
here.
we're not speaking for everyone. Everyone will get their chance to really tell us what they really feel. But I think I'm just spitballing here. But I would say that maybe 71% said no because anger is an emotion like any other emotion. It's fleeting. You can feel happy one minute, you can be angry the next if something sets you off. You can feel sad over something that that you've seen or heard during the day. So anger is not a choice in the sense that it's an emotion like any other, and our emotions are always changing as human beings.
Okay, that's fair. I feel in terms of the 29%, I feel there are instances in which you can choose to commit energy to something, or it does rather depend on the nature of that something or that incident, whatever it may be. For instance, someone greeting you. Should you get angry if someone you know walks past you and doesn't greet you?
If someone who you've met on several different occasions, you know this person, you've chilled with them, you actually, you have socialized with them.
Yeah, you've actually met that person before. You've spoken.
You've spoken, and then they choose not to say hi to you. I guess, like you say, you can choose whether or not you want to react to that situation. I guess it depends again how close you feel to that person, or what the status of your relationship truly is.
Yeah. And some people get very offended over greeting or a lack thereof.
That's
like they'll get touched, they'll go and report it to someone else and be like, that guy didn't greet me.
It happens. I mean, it just goes back to just being seen, I guess, and just we laugh about it, but again, just something as simple as just acknowledging somebody's existence. It can be a bit of a sore point for people.
It can.
But again, it just depends on
how you
certain
take it.
Other people also, and how that other person views your relationship. Maybe the other person's thinking that I don't know this person all that well, so let me not assume things.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so if they don't greet you, maybe it's time to cut your losses.
Perhaps. And choose not to get angry about it.
Yeah. So this past Sunday was Mother's Day, and it got Melissa and I thinking about a whole lot of things, especially regarding social media and this socialization the way it is nowadays, social distancing aside. So I've been meaning to ask you, Melissa, what is the purpose surrounding days such as Mother's Day?
So Mother's Day is essentially a commemoration of motherhood and mothers and honoring the important social impact that our mothers have on our lives and on society in general. So much like any other commemorative day, it's supposed to be a celebration. Commercialization aside, it is, it's meant to obviously honor a certain segment of society and to acknowledge, the important role that they have played in our lives. Grandparents, siblings, fathers, etc.
Okay, so do you think that the social media posts that we see about Mother's Day on various social media platforms are an effective means through which people can actually gain a meaningful understanding and acknowledgement of the role of mothers within society?
So I would say yes, because I saw many a touching tribute and many really amazing messages celebrating all the women in our lives that we get to call mom and celebrating the value of a mother's love in society. However, it does beg the question as to whether or not all those social media posts actually accurately reflect how we feel in real life and how we behave towards our mothers, not just on Mother's Day, but throughout the year. So what do you think, Trisha? What is your opinion of not just Mother's Day, but all of these commemorative days? You know, Siblings Day, Father's Day.
You really want to know my opinion?
I would love to know your opinion. I'm sure everybody else would love to know your opinion
For
too.
once, I don't believe that you want to know. But anyway, I feel these sorts of days. Let me just say, I'm not really an advocate for these kinds of days because I believe that it leads some to believe that displays of affection, care, and appreciation for an individual or a group of individuals
Yeah.
can or should be left to just a single day of the year.
Yeah, I can totally see how you would think that we'd run into that danger of just leaving it to Mother's Day, to Father's Day, to give your mother that fancy gift, to let her know that you think about her and that you love her. It can sort of distort how we display affection towards, our people.
Precisely, and it goes back to what you were saying in terms of consistency. What such days should do is aim to encourage consistency in terms of the way we treat and acknowledge one another's role within society, which, although difficult, is not impossible.
Exactly.
I think what we're alluding to here is that society nowadays, due to the nature of our social media platforms, largely revolves around a rudimentary cycle, a basic cycle of a person posting, person A posting, and person B reacting.
Okay.
People often react to posts without even putting much effort into doing so, or even reading the content or taking in the content before they do so.
And I think we're pretty much all guilty of just, kind of passively reacting to things that we see on our timeline. That is just the nature of our social media. You're scrolling endlessly, and it's just easy just to give it like the double tap or, just give it like the quick reaction, rather than to really engage with the material. We don't have time sometimes.
True.
Other times it's just a matter of, it's easy just to like a selfie than it is to actually like engage with a very long post if you don't have the time or the energy, or maybe you don't care for the person who's posting.
True.
So, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but we're all guilty of doing it at some point.
Yeah, no, every now and again. If we look at the whole thing of a selfie versus, let's call it deep content in inverted commas, say for instance, a long worded post, why is it that people have time to scroll through social media, to scroll through a whole bunch of posts, but they don't have time to read what they may deem to be a lengthy worded post? Why is it like that?
I guess it's because we also just want to consume information as quickly as possible. And we're not really, always looking to go into social media to kind of like participate in a debate, to think about things deeply, to reflect upon life. It's sometimes just to kind of get a bit of inspiration, sometimes from like maybe a quick quote, or like just seeing that your friend is in good health, and like a selfie, I guess, is an indication of that sometimes. Also just, you're not really looking to social media sometimes for anything, like I said, to really enhance or enrich your life. You're just really looking for it as entertainment.
That is fair, because it can serve as a bit of a entertainment or a break from life or the harsh realities that is
Memes.
the world in general.
Meme culture.
Meme culture. You know what? I don't like those health memes though. Those health memes are...
What, the HELTH ones?
Yes, I don't like them.
Those are my absolute favorites. I stand
I like
those
them,
posts.
but I don't like them because
Panic,
they're weird.
Calm, I love it. I don't know what it is. They're just so obtuse and so weird and so strange.
It's a reflection of millennials and millennial thinking in general.
I think so.
It makes me somewhat uncomfortable, but I can live with them anyway.
Yeah. So, you talked about the, just the long, meaningful post versus just a generic selfie. But what is your opinion about the posts that combine the two, where it's a selfie, but there's a long, kind of meaningful caption with it, a deep caption? What do you think about that?
Well, for me personally speaking, I'm one person who always reads captions. I have to read the caption accompanying the photo because, it's there for, the captions are there for a reason.
Exactly.
Now, where someone posting a selfie with a deep caption is concerned, I guess it's kind of like clickbaiting in a way. It can be a very effective means through which someone could get a point across.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that could be employed a little more often. Because granted, there are some times when you see a selfie and you think, oh, another selfie. But then you read the caption and it's something again, deep in inverted commas.
Exactly. I think I recall Miley Cyrus putting it this way. She talked about an outfit that she'd worn to, I think, a benefit of sorts for HIV/AIDS. And she talked about, how people said her outfit was so controversial and it was so, revealing. But she said that she'd rather have people kind of pay attention to what she's wearing so that she can raise awareness around this kind of really important issue. So she was essentially using her body to raise awareness around a good cause. So I guess you could say that the selfies with the deep captions kind of work in almost the same way. So it's to grab your attention initially and then get you to stop and read the caption.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes I guess it doesn't because you'll still get the likes for it, but maybe someone hasn't even engaged with the post at all.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. But what I feel overall is that social media, to a large extent, has made people quite socially inept or incompetent, if you will, generally speaking. At socializing.
Yeah.
For instance, the people you meet on social media, you guys follow each other, you send each other a message, you have a great conversation, but then you meet that person in real life and it's just not the same thing.
Yeah, very strange.
And this is my concern over days such as Mother's Day and commemorative days in general, because I often wonder, again, going back to the whole point of consistency, whether the posts that we see that are so heartwarming and tender are a true reflection of the nature of the relationship in real life.
Are a true reflection of the nature of the relationship. And you brought up a very important point there, because what I have also come to discover a lot of the time is that there are quite a few people out there who will craft this kind of like online image of what their relationship is. And when you discover what things are like behind closed doors, it's a completely different story. And this is something that I've discovered amongst a lot of my friends, from what people have told me about some of their relationships, from what other people have sort of said about other people that they know as well. Is that, I guess all that glitters isn't gold, And sometimes when you see a couple, who are constantly posting each other or constantly just, showing how amazing their relationship is, that is not always the case. And perhaps it's also just a thing where we feel that we shouldn't show this, the bad side of things, or that we really want to prove a point to everybody, or maybe we're trying to convince ourselves that the relationship is at a good place when it really isn't. And when we do things like that, we are denying ourselves the opportunity to truly interrogate what it is that's going on wrong in our relationships.
What's bothering us?
What's bothering us in real life. We deprive ourselves of that opportunity to have meaningful conversations, meaningful connections with one another, because we're so concerned about what the outside world thinks.
Exactly. And you have cases in which people will say, for instance, post a deep status about their dad on Father's Day, yet they barely speak to him. Or post a selfie with a friend from a, quote, lit night, yet they're angry with said friend because said friend owes them money.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience.
No comment. But you know what? There's something that really grinds my gears, come to think of it. High messages. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Don't even get me started on just the high message. It's okay.
Don't get me wrong, people. It's not a question of you not greeting me. I don't mind you greeting me, hitting me up, sending me a text just to check in on me. But if you send me a message with a standalone hi and no follow-up, what do you really expect from me?
And that's just my thing, like there are very few people in this world who I am willing to indulge in that regard. I'm sorry. Call me a snob or whatever you want to, but when it comes to that sort of thing, I wonder, why is it so difficult to just say, hi, how are you doing?
Exactly.
This is what I would like, you to get for me or to do for me this is why I'm reaching out. Just wanted to say hi.
Because it goes back to the whole purpose of social media and instant messaging platforms in general. They are meant for instantaneous or fast messaging.
Exactly.
So therefore, there's no need to drag things out.
Exactly. No need to beat around the bush.
Get to the point.
Yeah, literally just get to the point.
Because my main gripe here or complaint is that most of the people who send such messages aren't willing to actually carry the conversation or come through with meaningful content or just content in general. And in the same vein, you also have people who might hit you up or send you messages with the same content or the same complaints or the same issues.
Which goes back to the very crux of Ventilation Station and the the question that we often ask on this show is, what does it mean to complain too much?
Very true. Because we don't want to invalidate people's feelings and people's
Exactly.
need to complain.
Exactly.
That's not what we're here for. But again, there needs to be some form of balance. And again, it needs to be what? Constructive.
It needs to have some kind of purpose. It needs to be for your betterment, to allow you to process your feelings and to possibly come up with solutions if there is a problem that needs solving.
Precisely. And when it comes to issues of people complaining, we then therefore have to ask the question of, when should we confront someone with such an issue? When should we tell them that, you know what, enough is enough?
And you hit the nail on the head, because we don't want a situation in which it's the same complaint, it's the same conversation over and over again, but nothing really changes. We want to see some sort of development. We want to see that we're actually working towards something. Again, going back to our favorite word, it's constructive.
100%. Next week, we'll be asking the question as to when it is the right time to confront someone over an issue. So, make sure you tune in as we complain so you don't have to.
You've been listening to
The Ventilation Station. Catch a new episode of Ventilation Station every week on your favorite streaming platforms.